Tootle. Evie, what do we got? Show me a little something.
Should feel heavy. Oh, that's. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today's special guest has grown his YouTube channel into a full-time career. We're going to dive into how he got started, the challenges he faced, and tips for aspiring content creators. Most of you know him as Smashing, but today we're speaking with Aiden. How are you, Aiden?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing well, thanks. So yeah, very, very excited to speak to you. I wanted to start this one off as, how we met, because one thing I love about, the journey that I've sort of undertaken, and I'm sure you could probably relate to this, is the people you meet along the way. And yeah, you're one of the
Yeah,
first guys
absolutely.
in my Facebook group I made it at Cardonomics, and you did win the first giveaway, as I remember, the
Yeah,
Charmander
I was
slab.
like, like I heard there's a giveaway, heard there's some deals going on
Yeah.
here. I'm like, all right, I'm having in on this. I like a good deal.
So yeah,
And then
I sucked.
the rest is history from there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I sucked you in that way, I think, and I think you won a couple more on because the page was very small then, and you were just entering and
And I
everything.
entered everything.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
entered
So,
everything.
but yeah, that was the start of a friendship, I guess, that flourished. And I did ask to speak to you a couple of times, and you're always more than willing. So just to give the people of an idea of the person you are, like. You've always been there to help me, and I'm very thankful for that. And I was even in Adelaide once, and you're more than happy to come pick me up and take me around. And like that, the hair is as luscious as it looks on camera, just for all yous out there. So
Hey,
nah,
it's freshly washed, so it's sitting good this morning, I think. It's doing all right. But no, it was yeah, look, it's I've had a brain fart there. No, like, yeah, when you come down to Adelaide, it was fantastic to be able to meet you and everything and take you around, and it's been really cool watching your group grow as explosively as it has. And if that's not a credit to you doing something right, then I don't know what is. It's fantastic to see.
oh look, it's definitely a learning curve for me. And it was something like fun and exciting. And again, I'm sort of at the start of my journey where you're like pretty far into yours, so I'm pretty excited to get into where you started and go over the progression and sort of the challenges you face because now I'm getting into content creation myself. I see the time, the effort that's required, and obviously the challenges of doing something new. So yeah, very excited to get into that with you. So I guess we can start at exactly that, where you started, and how the idea for smashing came about.
So my journey started off with, I suppose if people are watching this from my end, like they will know who the boys are. So they are a big group of creators, and they all started with VR. And it started off because I was good friends with Josh Dub. This is back before he was doing YouTube. Well, I mean, he was still dabbling in YouTube, but he was doing it as just a hobby. So he was doing YouTube for fun, and it started to get more and more views, more and more subscribers because the content he was doing was obviously hilarious. It was good, and then it got to a point where there was multiple times we'd do like game nights and stuff, and he'd be like, "You should give YouTube a go. You're funny." And I'm like, "Nah, it's just too much effort. I couldn't be bothered. I'm already doing too many things, kind of thing." And then and then it got to the point where his stuff really took off, and he was started making like money from YouTube, and he was like a little bit confused, like, "You can make money from this?" And I'm like, "You can make money from this?" And then it got to the point where he was doing really well with it, and I was like, "Well, shit, maybe I should give this a go." So I took the leap. I invested like 5 or 6 grand into a gaming PC. I never had a gaming PC prior to this. I just had a computer. It played RuneScape, and that was all it needed to do at that point. And then a VR headset. I just basically bought a whole setup, and I jumped on in and had a crack and started making some, started fluffing around, making some little bit of content here and there, and eventually did a couple videos with Josh and Mully and the others, and it just started taking off. I think if I let me have a little look. If I go back far enough on Social Blade, I think you can see.
For everyone that doesn't isn't aware of what you do and your content, your main channel's almost got 1 million subscribers, so it's no small feat there. It's actually quite incredible what you've achieved. So
Yeah, it took off very quickly. I think it was there was a lot of hype around VR at the time, and the content that myself and the others was creating was, I guess, really enticing for people. It wasn't like a showcase of VR or anything like that. It was more so comedy through the platform of VR, which, as you can imagine, is far more like, I guess, hands-on and interactive than just, your static. Say, let's say like Call of Duty content or something, and you're trying to do silly stuff. This is what's happening. It's where you're moving the mouse. But in VR, you can roll your head around, you can wave your hands around, you can flip someone off, you can do the world's your oyster there. And the same with like with the platform we'd use, which is VR chat. Whatever avatar you want, if you can get someone to create a 3D model for it, you can be whatever character you want to be, and you can run all sorts of skits doing so. And I guess that just really took off. For the first, like, I think I hit the 100,000 play button, the silver play button, which is that side. It's over there. One of those two is the smashing one. That happened within, I want to say, like 4 months, which is just crazy. Like, it was one of those like proper YouTube blow up kind of channel things. And it's slowed down a lot since then. Like, I'm getting like, I think I'm getting about somewhere between like 2 and 5,000 subscribers a month now, which is still fine, but it's compared to the early days and the blow up days, it's slowed down a lot. But the journey has been insane. It's been ups and downs, and some really ups and some really downs, and it's nuts.
I guess every journey is a roller coaster, right? And I can attest to that myself. But as you were speaking, then a couple of things are going through my head. One, you started around that like late 2019, early 2020, and that's when the C19 debacle all happened, and we all got forced to stay at home. Yep.
Everyone was at home everyone was just at home, and yeah, they want to consume content. And I guess we really like the real big blow up was in, I believe it was May, June, July 2020, which was sort of right at the height of like lockdowns being enforced around the world and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, it just, that was when it really took off. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy how quickly it happened. I went from doing my full-time job. I'm a qualified electrician. I still am a licensed electrician. I'm not letting that lapse, because why would I?
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you did before this, but that just answers that question.
Yeah, so I was a licensed electrician, doing your standard 40, 50 hour week, whatever. And then I was just doing like the YouTube, like out of hour, and in the evenings I'd record something and then edit late at night and stuff like that. And it eventually got to the point where like the decision to go full time was not an easy one, because I'd gotten to the point where I was making enough from YouTube to match that of my electrician wage. Like, I know some people think, oh, electrician, you probably make it 600 grand a year or something. No. I was working for somebody else, just getting hourly rate. None of this 300 grand a year, like Sparky, you're not rocking up to work in a Lamborghini kind of Sparky kind of business.
Yeah.
But I replaced the YouTube income was enough to replace the Sparky wage while still working, 40, 50 hours a week doing the electrical work. So I was like, if I quit my job, I have enough to replace that. That money's still coming in, and I've got another, full-time hours worth of work that I can put into doing stuff, being available for recordings with people overseas and stuff like that, weird time zones, more time to be able to edit and just put the time back into the content. And it was a scary leap, and my dad was not happy about it.
Yeah.
He noticed the work van missing from the driveway like 2 weeks after I'd quit. He's like, "Where's your van?" Because he knew I was doing the YouTube, and I was mentioning, said that it was going okay, and it was starting to make a bit of money, and he was not happy that I quit my job to do YouTube. Because as you can imagine, someone in their 50s does not understand how
exactly.
the like YouTube works, and what do you mean you make money from this? And yeah.
I was going to say it is foreign to the older folk that didn't grow up with this, and it's hard to get their head around because I had sort of the same sort of reaction when I sort of wanted to go on my own and quit school early. I didn't finish school because I knew what I wanted, so I'm like, why waste any more time? For them, growing up, with different values, let's say, or in a different sort of environment, it's hard for them to get around that. So yeah, easily like that's relatable to me. But I guess the question in there is too, like, and I think what a lot of people would want to know is that transitioning into full time. You did say you replaced your wage, which I think is essential if you want to go, full time into something. Like that's the bare minimum you should do. But at what point was the channel at for that to happen for you for yourself?
Well, it's sort of going to depend from anybody's like anybody where someone's at on their journey, but it was just at the point where like the I guess the monthly revenue from like the ad revenue was steady and consistent for a couple months. I mean, I potentially could have waited, should have waited a little longer for that, but I could see the path that the guys I was working with, the boys that I was creating content with, the way their channels were progressing still. That theirs was still growing. Theirs were growing faster and like more exponentially than mine was. I think they were all putting more time into it because they had more time. So I was like, okay, if I want to really try and jump on this and like make this happen, I got to commit that extra time. But yeah, it was a couple months of like the wage sort of matching the electrician wage, and then I took that leap. But I really, it's one of those things for, like for someone like wanting to get into it. I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just you can't just assume these days that if you're just going to start making content that you're going to be able to be a content creator. It's just there's because everyone wants to do it. Who doesn't want
Yeah,
to, theoretically play video games for a living? Obviously, there's
yeah,
so much more involved than just that.
yeah.
But it's who doesn't want to do that? You ask a class full of like year 5 kids,
Yeah,
10-year-old, 12-year-old kids, what do they want to do for a living? I want to be a YouTuber. Of course you do. Who doesn't?
yeah.
It's a pretty cool thing to be able to do.
Definitely very popular. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's one of those things you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You can't just assume that just because you want to do it that it's going to be able to work. You need to. I would say never give up on it for sure. Never give up on wanting to do it, but make sure you've got something reliable to do and to keep you going and financially sustained. Because at the end of the day, if you got to have money to pay the bills. It's just the reality of the world. Make sure you've got that.
oh, for sure. You want to like lower that risk in terms of financial stability. But it is fair to say that that timing that you got into that was pretty like it was a perfect time to get in.
It's so lucky with how that all panned out. Like it was just the perfect storm. I mean, it helped that the guys that I was working with at the time, uh, they have continued on with their YouTube careers as well, and they're barely doing VR anymore, but they've got their group channel, the boys, and like Josh, Josh Dub, the one that I was close friends with, um, he he's now the most subscribed VR YouTuber in the world, and he has been for a long time. Like he's just cracked 10 million subs, which is
Jeez.
that's it's
Yeah,
nuts.
it's a
It's a
lot.
lot. That is a
Yeah.
lot of subscribers. So it helped that it wasn't just like a small group of people that I was, like a bunch of up and comers with like not much happening there to take off with. I was with this group of people that I mean, technically, they all started at the bottom too, but they'd already, I guess, they had a leg up. I think when they sort of started to like earn money from it, and that, I think Josh had like 40,000 subscribers, maybe more. So he already had a following, and then it just kept going exponentially from there. So being able to ride that train with them for that like period of time in that startup,
Yeah.
it was just the perfect storm of being there in the right place at the right time. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, I
Yeah.
guess I don't want to not to discredit myself there. I definitely put in a lot of hard work throughout that time as well to make it happen. But the timing was perfect. The timing was perfect for it to happen. I got very lucky with how that worked out.
Yeah, I guess you got to take that into consideration. Like, where is, that niche or that industry at today? And obviously, that probably marries into the next thing I was going to ask you as, in your industry or VR or just gaming in general, it moves very quickly. There's games that are like hot one day and then, trash the next because the next new things come out. So how'd you go with adapting with, that ever-changing climate, keeping things fresh or knowing what games to sort of jump on and try? So how did you tackle that situation?
Well, for the most part, all the content we were making back when it was all blowing up was all it was all pretty much just VR chat. So the only things that we'd really change was which character models we might use and sort of trending memes. You really got to stay like relevant with what's currently popular, what's happening, like what memes are trending on stuff on TikTok and all that kind of stuff. Um, i- Really utilizing short form content back then as well was huge. That made it that saw a massive growth. Um, to like just keeping stuff like growing and growing because back then, so back in 2020, TikTok was just it was just what it is. It was TikTok dances. It was like Vine for those that are old enough to know what Vine is. It was not used for gaming back then. Obviously, it very much is now, and it's saturated with it. But when we went through this sort of blow up phase, we were all using TikTok, utilizing TikTok for short form content. And I specifically remember after like a week of starting like chucking up daily TikToks. I remember this is like right in the early days, as you can probably imagine, but I went from like the daily views on the channel. Like so this is not like putting the shorts on YouTube and the views inflating because YouTube Shorts didn't exist then. But like directing traffic from TikTok over to YouTube, it would be I went from like 200 views a day within a week to 2,000 views a day, which obviously was nuts because 200 views, like, oh cool, yeah, get some views going, all right. But then you go to 2,000 views a day and you're like,
It's a
what?
10x. Yeah.
That's yeah, it's a huge it was a huge growth, and then it just sort of kept going up from there, and it was so like yeah, utilizing whatever's trending and popular and what's happening. You really have to stay like on the ball with just relevant content. And please don't look at my channel right now; it's not relevant. Um, it's fallen off a little bit, but anyway, that's another story.
Well, I guess we can marry into like as you started other channels, and we'll get into that later. And I guess that's sort of branching out to make that content relevant for that particular channel rather than mixing so many things into one. I'm guessing.
Yes, that is exactly why I have three channels now.
Yeah.
Is because yeah, the algorithm is a fickle beast. Is the easiest way to put that. Once you get yourself into you kind of get yourself stuck into a niche a little bit, which is a problem I'm sort of facing with views on my main channel at the moment. But that's yeah, the algorithm likes to kind of group you with what you are doing and what is working with your channel. I think it's ever changing. I don't quite really understand it. I know enough about it to know that it sucks. But yeah, you kind of gotta if you want to do like variety kind of content, you need to I guess you kind of got to be if you don't want to do something specific and you want to do variety, everything will be variety and things will hit and miss. It really depends on what kind of variety it is and how broad it is. Like if you want to like I don't know, I think the easiest way to put it is say like we the whole group of us that were doing all content together, we had our VR channel specifically, and then we all started a second channel for non-VR gaming. So that was stuff like playing like Uno on like the Uno on online, not like the physical card game, but yeah, Uno online, GTA online, just any kind of multiplayer game that was maybe popular. Reacting to TikToks because as much as I hate reaction content, people love watching it. So as long as people keep watching it, you got to keep making it. It's you got to do what you got to do there. It so and then that all separated. Gotta stop hitting my microphone. It all separated from you separate because then the algorithm over there is like VR content, weird dumb VR silly shit. Over here you got all your other stuff, and then it kind of the audience. You also end up with if you've got the following for it as well. The audience that already watch your stuff over here, like the dedicated audience, they will come over and they'll watch your variety pretty much no matter what you're posting to a degree. And that helps the variety aspect be successful too, because then it knows that it doesn't matter what you put out there, the audience will want to watch it, and the algorithm will go, "Oh, cool, they're still watching this, so we're just gonna keep feeding it to them." But yeah, you will get stuck in a niche, depend if you not upload enough of the same style of content on a channel. That's why that's why most people will have a second channel if they are successful on one channel. They don't want to filter in like lesser quality, or not lesser quality, but I don't know. They haven't spent as much time editing the video. Like it might be a more raw video. Like there's a bunch of YouTubers I follow now that if you've heard of Matt Armstrong and Tavarish, they buy like crashed supercars and repair
Yeah.
them. And
I'm out of the loop in that sense, man. I don't watch anything because I don't have the time. But yeah,
but they've so both of they're both their main and their second channels they're both car content. They're both the same content in that sense. And their main channel is like the really nicely polished, spent a lot of time on the video, like follows like a bit of a story of like the progression of the car, and that's like the main channel. But the second channel is also still entirely car content, fixing up the cars, all that stuff, but it's like more of a longer, uncut,
yeah,
less edited, behind the scenes kind of same. It's the same thing, it's the same stuff, but it's just more of it, and it's less refined, and it's still, yeah. So people will do second channels to, sort of,
it appeals to different people, I guess. So
yeah,
and that's what I find. It's trying to find what kind of content creator you want to be, and two, like looking at what are your goals, because my goal for my channel, obviously I'm still going to learn a lot along the way, and like you said with algorithm, I try to reverse engineer that in a sense that okay, the algorithm's there to find an audience that I want to try and put something out there to attract a certain person, and the algorithm's job's to find those people for me, but I've got to give it what it wants. So, trying to figure that out. And as you were saying, like people like that refined, that polished content, but then also people like the raw uncut footage as well. And they're two probably completely different people and a different audience. So that makes sense to me. But, if you're starting out, and you're trying to aspire to be like someone, but, like if your identity doesn't suit that sort of, high polished production, then maybe that's not the direction you want to go in.
yeah, because there's plenty of creators out there that do essentially the almost like the raw footage, like they record it, cut the start and finish off, maybe cut out a bit where they start sneezing for 3 minutes, and post that video. And that works for some people. I'm jealous of those people that can do like they just just play a game. I know there's a few guys in VR that do it. They will just do basically straight up game playthroughs rather than like play the game for an hour and cut that down into a 15-minute video. They will play the whole game for 4 hours and post 3 hour-and-a-half long videos.
Yeah.
And it's basically just raw gameplay, and that channels do well. That channels do fine. There's a market for each type as well. Like you said, like the shorter, polished, refined video will appeal. I mean, theoretically, I think that probably appeals to more people if it's done right. But then you can have the exact same with just the gameplay video, because people like watching raw footage. People like watching streams, and it's essentially that. Like the amount of people that, say, if you've got 1,000 people in a stream, you'll probably have 800 or 900 people of those just watching, like not interacting, just watching. And it's that the audience is still there on YouTube to that extent as well, and will watch the more unrefined raw footage. But obviously, you can't just start off from the get-go and start putting out 3-hour-long videos with maybe you just talking occasionally while playing a game. You're probably not going to grab somebody. You got to really entice somebody in if you want to get there with that type of content. And I don't know how to do that. That is not advice that I can give.
Yeah.
Other than the only thing that I know to be true with content on YouTube is the thumbnail and the title is more important than the content of the video. Because if they haven't even clicked on the video, they're not going to watch it anyway.
For sure.
So if they click on it and then they're enticed by the title and the thumbnail, as long as you don't clickbait beyond what you can deliver, good chance they might stay around. Even if it's for a couple minutes, it still brings that click-through rate up, which helps push it to other people. Obviously, the longer they watch, the better, because then people go, oh, they clicked on this and they watched it. Let's give this to more people in their For You page and their home page and whatever.
I guess that's part of the formula, and you need to get each formula right. But like you said, the first initial hook, or like what's going to get people to click on it, is going to be like the most important, because if they're not clicking, well, you could have the best video in the world, but if no one's going to see it,
If
because
you got a if you got a crap title and thumbnail, no
yeah,
one's they're not clicking. They won't know it's good. So
exactly right, 100%. And then one thing that always pops up is like consistency. Making videos, posting at certain times, or having a schedule. So, even I'm finding that tough, on top of, my
mm,
business needs and what the business requires on a day-to-day basis, plus trying to, live my life, and
yeah,
have
having
some
a
sort of
life
life for
outside of
myself,
everything.
exactly, and then trying to do
Hmm.
content. And at the moment, I'm editing my own videos, and I'm actually having fun, learning that new skill and doing that. But again, it's time consuming, especially when you don't know what you're doing at the start. There's a lot of working things out, and oh, there's a better way to do this, there's a more efficient way to do that. So I guess, tell us about your journey there, and how you found, that challenge, and how to refine that over time, or did you have to source help, anything like that at a stage where it got too much for you?
Yeah. It's very much been a journey there as well. So as with everyone I was working with, we all started off editing our own videos, um, and did that for quite a while. Um, and I think it was about the time that we everyone started up a second channel to do more content. We because then to be the sort of the general upload schedule was try and have a video out every 3 days. Um, which when editing ourselves, the style of content we did required a lot of like sort of tweaking and find. There'd be bits you might spend an hour on a 15-second bit sometimes in a video just to get the comedic timing right, adding this in some zooms, bits and bobs, juggling multiple POVs and audio tracks like mic tracks and stuff. Um, and yeah, you'd spend a long time just on one bit, and that could your 15-minute video might take 15 hours from start to finish by the time you're processing all your audios and everything, loading everything in, do the rough cut 2 or 3 times to bring it down, juggle cameras, tweaking stuff back and forth ever so slightly because you get your latency with recording from multiple POVs across the planet, and you get stuff right for the comedic timing, comedic effect and stuff like that. But yeah, juggling there'd be a lot of time sort of working. You'd record. You need to try and allocate enough time to get the whole video edited on a schedule. And then by the time we started second channels, um, everyone else took on an editor, and then all of a sudden everyone was recording more because they didn't have to spend as long editing, and I was like, oh, I'm falling behind here. I'm like, oh, I'd record, and then I'd be like, oh, I didn't have time to edit. Now I'm like, I've got like 4 unedited videos here, and I need to get more stuff done. I need to get these videos out, but we keep recording, and then we end up chatting and blah blah blah. And I took on an editor myself as well, which was crazy to think because it wasn't too much after I quit my job to then be like, okay, now I'm going to pay someone else to do work for me, it's a new thing for me, very much. So I eventually took on an editor as well, to do all the VR videos, and then I took on another editor to do the second channel videos, and it's it becomes complicated when you get to that point because you really need to look at how much money is the channel making? Is it worth it? Because I think for the most part, the I feel like for most of the life of the second channel, the variety channel that I have mashing, the channel was basically breaking even. Like it was growing a channel and all that kind of stuff, but in regards to the money that I put in towards um like having like the editor for it and stuff like that, because it got to the point where I took him on salary because I was putting out a video every 2 days on that channel. If you spend, I think the average kind of price was like 150 to 200 USD edited, like per video edited.
Okay.
Um, so you spend that much on a video, you need to pull, what's that? Like 20, somewhere between like 20 to 50,000 views, depending on how much, like the the CPM on the video, the dollars per thousand views, just to break even, let alone to actually make any money, like on that video. And then, you know, so
Yeah, I get.
sometimes it would take a full month to get that many views on the video, and just at the end of the month you've broken even on that video, and that's it. So there's that's a real like juggle, and it's an issue, not an issue, but it's something I've found now with the Pokemon channel that I've been doing, Smash Catch 'em, which is essentially how we ended up meeting, because
Yeah.
I've dived face first into the world of Pokemon creation because of my love and cardboard addiction for the trading cards, and I was paying an editor for the videos for a while there, and the videos were fantastic. There was no issue with anything there, but it got to the point where I was like, I can't keep spending this much money on a channel that's not making money. So you end up with that. You can end up with that point. So because even if you find that, like, you get to the point where you're like, okay, I could be making enough to pay an editor now, and you get all that time back, but then you may realize that you get to the end of that month and the money that you've spent on getting someone else to edit the videos, you've gained your time back, but then the channel it breaks even at the end of the month, and you go, okay, now I get my time back, so I don't have to edit, but does it then become worth it again, or should I try and refine my editing process to make it quicker or something? And it's a bit of an eternal struggle to figure out. Like, obviously, if your videos are pulling 100,000 views a video, it's a no-brainer. You pay someone else to do that work, and you get your time back because you're still making money there. But there's always that balance, and so
Yeah.
now I'm especially with how like the last couple months have been, because I've been doing like some renovations around the house, like with like getting the walls, getting the rooms carpeted and painted. We're planning to get a kitchen done and stuff, because it's like a 33-year-old kitchen now.
Yeah.
It's just juggling like life and work. I haven't put out a Pokemon video in like 3 weeks because
Yeah.
I haven't found the time to be able to sit there and edit, along with that's mainly because I'm juggling multiple channels as well. So then it's like you gotta be really self motivated, as well as like good at organization and scheduling for yourself and planning.
Yeah, a lot of things comes to mind then, but the key word that, come to mind at the start and when you're talking then, viability. And with your other channels, I'm guessing like it's your time is the factor that goes into making the content, and the editing is a cost. But then you got Pokemon is okay. I've got to pay for an editor. I'm still spending my time, but then I've got to open up product which costs money. So like, how do I get that money back as well? So that's just an extra thing on top of the other costs. So I guess the viability word comes to mind, and also what I'm thinking about is, because I'm at that point as well. Like, my business is capped out because I can't put any more of my time into the business. So if I want to
Yeah, because you're only
exponentially,
one man and
I'm
you're
only one
already
man.
doing full man hours there. You're
Exactly
done.
right. Exactly. I'm at full capacity. So the only way to, if I want to grow that further is to leverage other people's time. And that, sometimes costs money. But, without giving out too much of, how I've done it, because, I plan to, educate people and start something, with that as well, because that's where my passion is. I want to teach people how to, sort of do what I've done. And I guess that's why I started doing podcasts, to give people an insight onto how people, built their business or channels, or the struggles they've had, because it's all relatable. And like you said, these other costs are relatable, where, you want to do renos, or you want to live your life. So like, it's all good stuff that people want to listen to. So I guess you got to just see that viability aspect. Is the investment of my money, into someone else's time for them to, make my life easier or free up time, going to give me the return I need to make that viable? And I guess that's a lot of trial and error throughout, trying things and doing things, and having the foresight to think that, okay, well, I might not see, a return on investment of, in a finance sense now, but will that, compound over time and make it viable in, say, 6 or 12 months? So,
Yeah, and that was part of the dilemma I had there with the second channel, where I said, I was basically breaking even for quite a while. Or I think actually for the first few months I was taking a loss on the second channel with like paying the full-time editor, paying him a salary while the channel was growing, and I think it sort of started off loss after like, I want to say maybe a year, maybe 6 9 months. It was started to make money, but it wasn't a lot. It was like it ended up in the green. But
Yeah.
then it sort of as you know things died down and the hype and phase you know the phase we're in whatever fizzled out, it went back down again. And I've there's been in the last like year and a half, last 2 years, I've done a bit of a complete sort of I guess restructure of my business, you could say, in the sense of like I had two guys on full-time salary for editing, and that was costing a lot.
Yep.
So now I just pay per video,
Yep.
which you know has helped bring that cost down because you then look at how much you're putting into the business
Yeah, for
and how
sure.
much work. Like it's because then you look at like okay, this thing will take 10 hours to do. Do
Yep.
I am I better off paying someone to do 10 hours of work, or no, I should keep that money. I should do this 10 hours myself. And then that becomes a real juggle. And then but then obviously you get to the point where you are where you're tapped out of the hours that you can do yourself, and you have to look at is it going to be is this a worthwhile investment, or more so as well, which aspects do you want to like try and you know bring in help, bring in assistance for certain
Yeah.
things, because some things like you might be really good at doing and you know that, oh, I know I can do this well and I know I can do that in a good amount of time, but this bit here, this takes me longer. I'm not good at this. If I
Yeah.
just outsource that's probably better for me. And yeah,
Well, yeah, I think you learn that along the way, and as we call ourselves entrepreneurs or whatever you want to call it. Like especially when it's your first time, we don't learn this at school. Whatever you learn is learnt through experience, or whatever's out on the internet that you want to consume. Hence, like we've got all these creators and people trying to put out good information, but there is a lot of bad information out there as well. So you got to be careful, who you're listening to. But I found with my first business, I used to sell cars. And, I went from three different premises because, one, I was growing. Two, the climate might have changed where it wasn't viable to be as big, or, started employing people like you said. And then, the cost of that employee wasn't covering, what they gave the business. So, I ended up moving to, a warehouse after I had a bigger yard, having less cars. But that being undercover allowed me to not have to be there all the time. I was doing appointment only. So I wasn't just sitting, in a chair waiting for people to come in when I was on the main road. I was able to work with one less salesman. I was able to get cheaper insurance because I didn't have to worry about hail hitting the cars because that happened one time. So there's all these things that happen, and you just got to make it. You're not making up along the way, but you have to, you have to overcome these
you gotta adapt
challenges.
to the
Exactly
environment
right.
and see what's coming at you and
Hundred
look at
percent.
something and go, okay, is this is how it is right now? This is how
Exactly.
much it costs, blah blah blah.
Yep.
Is this viable? What can I do to change that? What can I do to make this more viable? Like when I went from
Yep.
having guys on salary to then deciding that no, like I wasn't outputting enough videos to make the salary worth it, because the salary was based on what I was doing 2 years prior, which
Mm.
was way more happening and there was lots more happening. So it made sense to be paying that much because that's how much I was putting out. But
Yep.
then as I got slower,
Yeah.
all of a sudden I went from paying like say $200 per video if I had a slow month,
Yep.
or I got sick or something, I
Yep.
would end up paying $500 per video, and I'm like,
Started
that's way too
getting, yeah,
much.
not
So
worth it.
then,
Yep.
then you change. So that's when I changed to I just pay it per video, and be like, hey, I'm not having you as like I'm not your sole source of income now. Like we're a contractor in situation now rather than a full-time employee salary kind of
Yep.
business. And
Yep.
it, it just, you all of a sudden you go from running a bit of a tight ship to being like, okay, now I've got more breathing room for the business and for whenever the tax man comes at me with his big fingers and all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to stress each month and think, okay, am I making enough money to be okay now? It's
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the same sort of thing as what I was saying before, and saving money is just as good as making money. So if you're struggling to increase revenue, well, the next best thing is where can I save or cut costs, and this is what a lot of big companies do, even small business. Unfortunately, sometimes you've got to make these decisions, but if you want to keep going, and not have to shut down the operation, well, sometimes that's the price to pay, and maybe down the track things pick up again, and then it might be viable to do that again. And again, it's us being better at making those decisions and growing, as an entrepreneur, which is important. So yeah, no, look, definitely good advice and something that you consider when you get into the same position and you start growing. There might be a time where, okay, well, I've grown too quick and things aren't as good. We maybe need to wind things back again. So just a bit of a reality check too to people. So I guess you went over a few people that you collaborated with before. And I find, when I started my new business, I knew the importance of collaboration or, having people there that are, a good help and you can sort of lean on each other at times and work together in a sense. So you mentioned Josh Dubb and the boys and, a couple other people. So I guess the question is like, how do you provide value to people for in order for them to want to collaborate, or how did you finding those collaborations and you know and being that sort of viable relationship with those people to actually grow together?
I think the best sort of way, if you want to reach out to somebody to work with them, I think you need to be able to go in, obviously be friendly, approachable, all that kind of stuff. Like be someone you would want to talk to. Um, you also want to make sure you've probably got similar styles in what you're doing. Yeah, I think you want to go in with an idea as well. You don't just want to reach out and go, "Hey, you want to do something?" And they go, "Yeah, sure." Because then what? Then do you want to spark a conversation and brainstorm with them, or do you want to be like, "Hey, I think we should. I love your content. I love what you're doing. I do something similar. Would you like to create this content together? Here's an idea of something we could do." Present them, give everything to them on a platter if you want to. If you're reaching out to someone that you have not spoken to before, like if you're someone that like maybe you mutually followed each other on socials or whatever, maybe Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, and you maybe replied a bit of back and forth in some so like replying on Instagram stories or something, you're like, yeah, this is sick, love what you're doing here, blah blah, and they're like, yeah, thanks, cool, blah blah. If you got that kind of thing going, you could probably reach out a bit more casually and say, hey, we should do something at some point. But if you want to, I guess if you want to cold call somebody in that sense, I guess just try and present them with something that would entice them to say, hey, that sounds good. I like this. I'm on board. Let's do this. This could be fun. And then, yeah, I guess probably try and be yourself as well, because you don't want to end up in a scenario where you're presenting yourself as somebody that's entirely different to what you are like or will be like, because then they'll be like, oh wow, this person's entirely different to how they appeared on in a message. Like if you're real blunt and impatient and you
Yeah,
present yourself as really I don't know, really friendly and yeah, no, take as long as you need, and then you're like, hey, what's going on here? It's big time's
yeah,
money.
yep, yep.
You're probably gonna end up with some hiccups, and you could still work with them, but you might be a one and done. So it's reaching out to people it's not something I'm necessarily very good at. Like I haven't, I there's a few people that I've worked with, that specifically one in particular that I can think of, Ames, who was my first editor, and then I ended up making a lot of content with him as well. Later down the track, he's gone off to do very successful things. Um, he is so good at, I don't know how he does it. He just reaches out to people and will like, I don't know what he opens with. I don't know how the conversation starts, but he will just contact people and then within a month he's making videos with them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. I don't have that knack to be able to reach out to people like that. There's an art to it.
It's definitely, yeah, the gift of the gab, they call it. Like some people are good speakers, and again, it's something that if you're not good at it, you just have to practice over time. But the other thing that sort of comes to mind is, if you're someone new and like you've done nothing, like you can't really reach out to someone and expect them to like, give you a handout in a sense, because you actually need to show like this is what I can do and this is my worth and actually provide value. So I think one thing I found is, like because I started something and people seeing what I was doing, if it's something they resonate with, maybe they want to be a part of that. But if you don't have that sort of social proof, then it's like, well, what am I looking at, or who are you, or there's questions. It's like, why would I even reply to your message? Not that like I'm better than you or like to belittle someone, but at the end of the day, like people do this as whether it's a business or something fun, and they want to collaborate with someone that's gonna benefit or provide value to what they're doing. So
Exactly. It's not ever like I almost never reply to like messages on socials because most of the time it is just there's absolutely nothing wrong. Please don't stop messaging me, people. I appreciate messages that come through, like just replies to stories and comments on videos and everything like that. But like, I don't have the time to just sit there and reply to everything.
Yep.
It just doesn't work like that. And like same like say like collaborating with people, people reach out and be like, hey, I love your content. We should make a video together. It's like I they don't have any videos on their channel or anything, and it's like I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. I like it's hard. You know, you don't want to. You not to say like the same thing. You know, it's not to be like, oh, I'm better than you. I'm not going to reply to you or anything. It's not. That's not why it doesn't. It's not going to happen there. It's just you kind of got a thing that you're doing, and if you to branch off from what you're doing to work with somebody that you don't know, something good needs to be presented to be like, maybe this is good. This could be good. You know, like it's got to be presented to you in a way that's enticing. And if it's just a message of let's do something, it's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? What's the plan here? It's yeah, it's
I guess people just don't want to do the hard work themselves because obviously, when you start, there's other things you just need to sort of go out and do on your own. And it's kind of like proving yourself that, okay, like I am serious, I am committed. You're not just going to be teaming up with someone that's, promises the world and doesn't deliver because you need that social proof, like I said. And I was never on social media before this, but I knew that if this was the job or profession or the direction I wanted to go in, I had to be a bit more public. I had to be a bit, like transparent about what I'm doing and put myself out there, or else, it's just a big mystery and no one's gonna buy into that. So
yeah, yeah, especially with what you've been doing there as well, which is like buying and selling. Like if you can't just be a no like no name, no face to anything. Like if you present yourself as, hey, this is me. I am Charlie. I am Cardonomics. I'm doing this. This is me. Get to know me. Then you can build that trust and relationship, and then people can then go and want like buy products from you, and know that it's not just some
yeah,
nameless, faceless
exactly.
company online, which where there has been I know there's been plenty of companies that have done dodgy shit
Yeah,
and built they start off with what seems like a good repertoire for themselves, and then within 6 months they haven't been paying their bills and they're not getting they get over delivered on, or they've over promised on the next release of something, and they're paying for the next batch with the last batch, and then they get
yeah,
themselves into a hole, and all of a sudden there's people buying from still a nameless, faceless company that's gone under or something, and then
yeah,
people are chasing money. But no, you present yourself as you. This is me. This is what I'm doing.
yeah.
Let's
Definitely
talk.
happens a lot. Yeah,
Let's yeah, and that's part of why I've been so happy to like work with you and talk to you and join your group straight away on Facebook, and
yeah,
not just for the I'll be honest, it started off with the promise of a freebie
yeah, yeah.
because we all love a good
Gotta dangle the carrot.
mystery. Yeah, you got to dangle the carrot, and I like carrots. What can I say? It's
Well, that's my hook, Like I was saying before, like I have to like present something for people to get people's attention. I can't just go like, oh, I'm Charlie. I just started a new business. Like I got no reputation that you can, go online and verify. But please buy from me because I've got stuff that you might want. That's hard to trust, but it's like, all right, like I'll bring you over here, then I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm not gonna even like try and force things down your throat. But
post regularly in there and stuff
yeah,
like you would do. Obviously, enticing with really good prices is a very good start of it naturally, but then being able to show that people can trust you
yeah,
is massive, and that's that's a huge part of that is you are present in that group, and then you communicate with people and you
yeah.
post discussions and people talk, and
It's
you've
not
fostered a
AI.
really good yeah, he's not even there, he's just a programmer.
Yeah.
He's fed it a lot of text, but like you spark all these conversations and you fostered a really good community of people in there, and you've made it a very safe and comfortable place to be too in your Facebook group,
Yeah.
because you have a very hard and fast like rule of don't be a dick,
Yeah.
like it's like almost like rule one. I think you've got a rules thing there somewhere, but I know
Yeah.
that's in there. It's like it's a
No one
don't be a
reads it,
dick.
but
Like if you be a
yeah.
dick, we've got like there's a zero tolerance policy on like if you're being an asshole for no reason,
Yeah.
you're not welcome here. That's not what we're doing here. This isn't
Exactly.
just a like an entirely open forum of buy, sell, this, that. It's like, no, this is Cardonomics.
Yeah.
This is the community that you have created and fostered, and it's your livelihood there as well. And if you can't have people coming in and
Mm,
turn it into a shit show with abuse and having people not feeling welcome, because then that's driving away people that from the community that you've created.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I think that was just knowing that my identity, knowing what kind of, group I want to create from the get-go. And that just comes through like experience, like previous experience of like other businesses, or like just knowing things and doing my research, or just watching other people, what they do right, or what probably what I could do better that they're not doing, and that's just working things out like that. So I think setting those, expectations for people, or like setting rules and boundaries at the start is the way to go. But yeah, look, it's just something that you fine tune over time. But yeah, and again, like, that's the bait you put out, and you're going to attract what you put out. So you got to be careful with what you put out there as well, because that's what's going to come in. And if it's something completely different than what you're after, well, you're probably doing it wrong. So that's something you can probably like really fine tune like from the start rather than later, so you can make sure you're building the right community. So no, definitely important. I just want to touch on sort of, work life balance, as I was saying before, because it's something I've struggled with, especially getting really busy with the business content and etc. And I see, like, obviously Sarah's a big part of your life, your partner. You do a lot of stuff together, and you're not afraid to show people, a bit of a peek into your life, which I think is a nice touch. So, how did that sort of change, things that you did personally, and how did you find that collaboration work with your life without, sort of taking too much away from what you do? You work very well together, you've got great synergy, and I think that's, something, really, really special. So I just wanted to, touch on that with you.
mm. Well, generally, if I'm left to my own devices, my work-life balance will be shocking. I will put way too much. I will just sit at this computer all day, not even necessarily being overly productive, but I will just be, slowly faffing away with work stuff, just nonstop. So, um, Sarah has been a massive help with everything in my work. She is a very organized and like, or a very organized person that loves to plan. And she helps me with my stuff. Not so that's not her forcing it upon me either. It's me saying, hey, you are organized, help me be organized, because then that's going to help us too. That helps our relationship, because then I allocate time better for what I need to do with my day-to-day work, and trying to keep weekends free. I used to just do all day every day in front of the computer in the past, and just I'd still go out and do my life stuff, but it would only be like, say, like when I got my sports in the evening, to be out blah 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 at the computer for the day, from when I crawl out of bed at whatever hour, depending on what I was doing, with all sorts of time zones for stuff. I might be in bed at 4 in the morning and then up at midday. It's not ideal, but that's when people were available, like late night recordings and stuff. But it would be, I'd do work until sport, come back, have dinner, back to the computer again until whatever time, and it was not ideal, really. So, but now Sarah helps me manage like all my time in general. Like, I'll get up in the morning at a reasonable hour now, and I will 4 days of the week I'll stream, and that's my morning. I'll start at like 8 or 9 o'clock stream till about lunch, and then have some lunch, and then I'll do some more work, and then come 5 6 p.m. ideally I should have everything done for the day that I need to do, and I'm trying not to load up my days too much, because I generally struggle with time management. So if I give myself too much and there's too much sitting there without like a plan, I will just look at it and get none of it done. You might do, oh, I'll do a little bit here, and oh, no, I should do some of this. No, it's been too long. I haven't done this yet. And then I'll just sort of bounce across and not really get it done. But if she helps me get like a schedule going for the day, it'll be like, oh, you got this to do. Cool. That should take hour and a half. We'll give that 2 hours. And then here's this. That should take another hour. That's this. And then cool. Here's a day. Here's my day. And then if you get more done at the start of the week too, like you still load up the first few days of the week a bit busier, and then if you fall behind on stuff, other stuff comes in, like stuff from like my management and stuff, like my management, not Sarah management. Everything, you got space later in the week to sort of spread stuff out. And then ideally at the end of the week now, I was doing a stream on Saturday. Saturday was like my Saturday stream was like the last work thing I did up until Monday, unless, outside of getting a thumbnail back from a video on a Saturday night, and I need to just jump on the computer and get that scheduled and posted and whatever. Um, we end up with the weekends free after that stream. But now I moved that stream to Friday, which is now my card stream.
Yep.
So now I've got a really good work life balance, and I wouldn't be able to do it without Sarah.
Awesome.
She
Yeah.
just helps me keep everything in line. And
Yeah.
I guess I still probably I've got more organizing and planning to get better at. The fact that I'm now, like, 3 months ago I was in a completely different room in a completely different office, and this is still not set up because I've been fighting IKEA for a while, and a lot of IKEA furniture, so much cardboard, so much cardboard. But once this space is all fully finished and set up, it will be a very tidy, organized, and productive and motivating space. Because
Yeah.
you can't see how many cards are over here right now. Hold on, let me just make sure there's nothing that's going to dox me. Well, let's have a look at this. Like, it's not
Yeah,
good.
man.
That's supposed to be my workbench where I
Yeah.
can keep on top of shit. But
We can see
it's not
behind
there
me,
right
like
now.
mine's like nothing doesn't look pretty, but for me,
No, no,
this was
no.
meant to be my office.
Your backdrop excites me because I know what
Yeah.
all of that is. That is all sealed product waiting for my little grubby fingers to open it.
Well, it was just like I got no room. Like, I bought this house just as an investment for later, because when I traveled to Europe last year, I ended up selling my house I was living in then, which was much bigger than what I'm in now. But like, I don't plan to stay in Australia. I plan to sort of travel a bit more in the next year or two. So I just wanted to buy something, to have a roof over our head, and this sort of come up. I thought it was a good, investment opportunity, but the house was a lot smaller than what I'm used to. So, I've had to struggle with, storage because I got so much stuff. Especially when I started the business, I just bought exponentially a lot more inventory to sell. So like, my office has become, a slash storeroom. So like what you said behind me is just like trying to get things out so I don't have to sort of jump over it, or, like, sort of slide it in there. Like, I can still like walk to my chair and do this sort of stuff. But yeah, look, you just sort of work with what you got. It shouldn't stop you from, doing anything. And yeah, like, you'll get there eventually, I guess.
I still want to get better and more organized and, like, better at managing my day and planning it out, because I guess this is a part of the whole, like, I was spending too much on editors in the past because I slowed down and my self-management got worse, and I started trying to do too much, and then because of that I wasn't getting enough done, and then spending too much on the videos, blah blah blah. Now coming back to the whole, I am now paying per video, like a commission basis, a contractor kind of basis, paying for editing work done and stuff like that. So I'm getting more onto it now, but I'm still not putting out as much content as I want to across all the channels. But because I'm more, I'm still technically more organized with what I'm doing, I'm not losing out money there because I'm only paying per video. So if I only put out 4 videos for the month, I've only paid for 4 videos. So it's not like I've still forked out
Yep.
thousands of dollars there on editing to, the channel revenue will be here, and the editing, if the editing cost is here, like, it's still going like this. It's not like the editing cost stays here and then the channel revenue goes up and down because I'm not putting out enough videos. It's the organization it's getting better, and the way I've got everything balanced now, I don't suffer from much from
Yeah, yeah.
from the lack of content, and with the work-life balance still being good.
I guess that pressure can come from various in various forms. Like, you got, obviously financial pressure if you're sort of getting under the pump, or for whatever reason, whatever situation you can be in, that can change as well. Like, you could be doing really well, then all of a sudden, revenue might be down, so you got to put up with that. Then you got the pressure of, continue to make content, being consistent. So like you said, I think finding that balance and trying to find uh, the right structure for that suits your life is key, because everyone's going to be different. So yeah, I don't think there's any one way to do things. Like, there's no one right way to do everything.
I mean, there's definitely a wrong way to do things, that
Yeah.
becomes evident. But
Yeah.
as opposed to, like, the right way, everyone's situation is different. Everyone's going to be doing different content. It's going to take different amounts of time. Like, there are, like, I'm lucky in the sense that a lot of the content that I make, like, when you look at it as a theoretical, I pick a VR game or something and I'll play it for an hour. and I'll send that off to the editor, and that comes back a couple of days later as a 15-minute video, as a rough example. Obviously, I've still got to find the games. I've got to make sure the game works properly. I've got to make sure it records properly. I got to maybe find some jokes to slot in that are relevant to current things and
Yeah.
whatever, and then you got to plan for thumbnails. But there's a lot of creators that I follow, that I watch. I consume everything they put out because it's really good. But there's very such different styles of content that people can do. Like people will play. I love old school RuneScape, and I watch a
Mm.
lot of old school RuneScape creators, and so many of those creators will do a video where they will be doing something and they'll play the game for 40 hours for the week.
Jeez.
And
Yeah.
then what they get out of that week is one video.
Yeah.
And like that's a whole nother different type of content creation again. It's still obviously it's content creation, but it's a very different strategy to
Yeah.
creating the content. You have to put in a lot more time to do that. Granted, that is time then still just spent playing video games, but it becomes that is the full-time job. That is that you need to put in that many hours into that
Yeah.
game as your job to get the content to make videos to pay your bills.
Yeah.
It's just either way you're doing something with your time that is required to to
Yeah.
produce your content, and it's very different strategies.
For sure. I think that even that balance that we touched on before, like I've experienced burnout, and doing too much can be counterproductive because when you're in a mindset where like, okay, like I'm doing all this stuff, and even if things are going great, but then other things are suffering because I don't have that balance. Like maybe you need to wind back and just realize that, okay, we need to constantly work on that or work on ourselves and try and improve on the little things to either you know have a lead a happier life or be more efficient in a sense. So there's always constant tweaking, there's always learning, and I think you should never stop you know building that sort of skills for yourself, or building you know your own skills and working on yourself is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's really important.
You've always got to be like learning and adapting,
Yep.
and not necessarily just like completely changing what you're doing, but you got to like, just little tweaks here and there. Be like, okay, this say like this content strategy is doing good, but I've observed other people are doing something a little bit differently, and that seems to be going good. So you can little tweaks here, little changes there, a bit of this, bit of that, and it's not just a like, content creation is not a 9 to 5. You can't just rock up to work and just
Yeah. Clock
do
off.
the thing and then just
Doesn't
clock
work.
off and then
Yeah.
be done with it. It just does not work like that. There is way too much involved for it to be like that. And that's the other I guess that's one of the downsides to playing video games. Downsides to the content creation aspect is that you don't just rock up, do your 8 hours a day and go home. Like you are,
Yeah.
it's the whole owning, you're having your own business thing, and there's so many different things to do and manage, and
100%.
working with people outside of your time zone and stuff. You are always
Yep.
working. You're always thinking about what you need to be doing and adapting. And like you'll be just be browsing social media when you're switched off, and you'll see something. You go,
Yep. Idea,
I
or
should
start writing
I
that
should
down.
try something like
Yeah,
this. Yeah, I should jot
exactly.
this down. I'm going to save this, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you're technically theoretically, you're working again. You're back on to thinking about what you need to do. You don't just like I think that's probably the only thing I miss, realistically, about my previous work when
Yeah.
I was an electrician was I would go to work in the morning. I would knock off at the end of the day. It's done.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can clock
Now
off.
whatever I do is entirely not
Yeah.
work related. It's what do I want to do around the house? Do I want to sit on my ass and play games? I need to pull some weeds out of the garden. Whatever. It's I should cook dinner, but it's like not like oh no, I need to get this thing done for tomorrow. It's you clock off for the day, and that has
Yeah.
its the peace of mind there is that holds a lot of value.
Pros and
You
cons,
really
I
like
guess. Yeah.
yeah, it's like obviously I still wouldn't trade what I do now to do what I did. Um, but that realizing that now after doing this for 4.5 years full time now,
Yeah.
that peace of mind, the whole you clock off at the end of the day holds a lot of value. And if you want to get into this, don't take that for granted back then. Like
Yeah.
if you want to try and get into doing content creation and go full time with it, you are running a business. You are not
100%.
just playing video games full time. That is not what it is.
Because people are going to get a big reality check when they do try. And if you just think that, you're going to put in your 8 hours a day and clock off, like, you're only going to get out what you put in. I've learned that firsthand. And the more you put into something, the more you're going to get out of it. So again, you can give it your all and do it every second of the day. And if you're doing the right things over time, you're going to get very good results. But then you're going to burn out. So you got to find that work balance. So again, what we went over before is perfect advice for all that sort of stuff. So I guess we'll just touch on now. New people getting into content creation. What tips have you got for them, or what advice can you give them? For people just starting out.
I think the best basis of what you can do to really get going is it kind of hasn't changed in a while. There's a couple key things that have always held true, and that the first one is there was the like if you're doing videos, for example, if you're streaming, it's a whole nother kettle of fish. But if you're doing videos, the title and the thumbnail are so important because like we said before, if you're it doesn't matter how good your video is, it could be the literal best video in the world. But if you don't have a title or a thumbnail that people want to click on, they're still not watching the video, are they? They haven't clicked on it because it doesn't look appealing, it doesn't sound appealing. So title and thumbnail is absolutely the most important thing you can do there. Next one is it still holds true. It's not as successful as it used to be, but it is still very important. Utilization of short form content, Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Cut down sections of your videos. Be it you can either do it. There's many ways to do this. You can do the lazy way, which I like to do, which is not the lazy way. Like the setup's already in the video. Like you will
Yep.
cut out a joke. You will find a 15-second section of your video that you just cut that section out, swap it, transport it to long form vertical content. So maybe subtitle it if you want to. I've had very mixed results with for and against subtitling, whether it's worth the time and or money if you're paying someone to do that, of course. Short form content. Make short form content because then the platforms make it a lot easier to link back to your videos too. Like specifically YouTube Shorts. Now you can link a video to your short, so you can say, "Here's the short. You like this?" The link of the video is literally it'll pops up, and you can just click straight on it, straight over to the long form. And that's a
Yeah.
very fantastic tool that did not exist when I started it. Everything I did and the crew that I worked with when we did short form content, it was going from one platform to another, which is obviously a lot more challenging, and it still works. But the benefit there to short form content is for long form content, it will appear on people's For You page. Maybe it'll push to subscribers. If you don't have many subscribers, it's obviously not going to go to many people. Short form content goes to anybody. You don't need to be subscribed. If you're flicking through reels and whatever, you will just get shown relevant content to what you consume. Say,
Yep.
if you're watching Pokemon card reels all the time, if you just flicked through, if you watched a couple, say you watched a Pokerev and a Cool Trainer Ryan, and then you just keep flicking, you're just going to start probably getting shown more Pokemon content, and you will see people, you probably see people you've never seen on the platform before. You might watch and go, "This is good." Bang, click on over. Bam, there's a new follower.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to go to people that don't follow you, and that's the way that algorithm works. And that is the best way to get started is to utilize short form content, and that has
Yeah.
held true forever.
It's free marketing, and like you said, you can repurpose content that you've already done and just chop it up. It's going to save you a lot of time. And I think like what comes to mind too is like even growing up as a kid, Hollywood or whatever movies have used that type of structure for a long time. Whereas you see a preview of a movie, or you watch, when you go to cinema, you get all these short versions of that movie, and then you can decide whether you want to watch the movie or not. So it's basically almost the same thing.
Exactly, and like you can utilize it in so many different ways. So like you can do the lazy way, like I do for a lot of my content because it allows me to work it in that way, which is you just cut a joke out from that video, and you make that the short, and then bam, that's now in vertical form, and people can click over from that to the video. You can do it entirely different. You could make it like you said, like an ad for a movie, like a preview. You can cut out bits and bits and bits and spend a bit more time on it and make it. You can do something. You can make dedicated short form content too if you want to promote something.
Yeah.
I've seen something that I like that I've been observing from Cool Trainer Ryan, and I think some of the others do it, but I mostly see his is He'll showcase a pull from a video, like that'll be the short. But then he'll also do a small fresh recording part at the start of that to say, like, I last week I opened this set and you will never believe what I pulled. That kind of thing,
Yeah,
like and then
hooking him in.
the next half of it will be the clip from the thing made into the vertical form. And then there's so many different ways to do the short form content, and it just depends on what you're doing and what you want to do and how you want to present it. But
For
yeah,
sure.
thumbnails, titles, short form content. They're the three
Yeah.
keys to success. And be unique.
I think even too like even doing what works but making it your own is probably is that what you're trying to say? Yeah.
Yeah, like you gotta look at, yeah, it depends on what the type of content you're creating as to what you really utilize for it. Like you need to separate yourself from what other people are doing as well. Like you need to be give yourself a reason to click on it. Like if it's just generic, like I'm playing this game, I don't think too many people are going to want to click on that. But you're like, I'm playing this game and we're doing this. This is happening, and I've set up a challenge or something.
Yeah.
People love challenges. People love to see a challenge. People love to see people struggle through something and get there as well. I mean, obviously, if you struggle and fail, it can still be funny, but then you work that as well. You put death
Yeah.
count 622 on the thumb in the title. In the picture.
Look
It's
at how bad
there's
I am. It's like good content.
yeah. I mean, I've been doing a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Master Mode 3 heart run on the on my streams lately, and I've also made it so that if someone subscribes or does a donation or a channel points or something, they make me drop an item, like one of my weapons or my shields. Like I roll the dice and we see what I lose. Whether I lose a sword
Yeah.
or whatever, and my death counter on that is it's like 160 something. So I want to go back through all my all my streams and find each death and put that into one video, and it's just like death, 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 and I'm going to try and that might make a good video. It might do shit. I don't know, but I want to try it because I think that could be entertaining. I think it's funny, but I like laughing
Yeah.
at my own jokes. So I don't know. It could work. You got to look. You got to I don't know. You got to create something that you think other people are going to want to click on,
Well, even like
or
your
that you can
yeah.
see other people are already clicking on, and then try and work into that. Just remembering that other people's successful content, they've probably already got a following of people that watch that. If you're trying to get into that, you need to present it in a way that can hopefully appeal to that audience if that's what you're trying to get into.
Yeah. Well, even like I've seen your best video, it's got over 5 million views, and that was like a best of 2020, if I'm correct. So you just
Yep,
compiled all the
compilation
best part.
videos.
Yeah. So like that definitely worked for you before. So like, why wouldn't it work again?
I still do it now. There's a reason why, like, people I always see in the comments, like, oh, this is just a re-upload. It's like, I guess it is a re-upload, but it's a compilation video, and
Yeah.
I know from people that come in my streams, they still like these compilation videos. I'll do it every like fourth or fifth video as a compilation video because they still get more views than my current videos, which is it's a sad side to see, but it keeps me going too because it keeps revenue sort of flowing, and I can
Yeah.
spend more time. I don't have to worry about like I need to pump out a video every 4 days, and the VR scene is I'm not doing the same content that I was doing there. So
Yeah.
like I have to find more games and do more stuff there rather than like the skit based group humor. But yeah, like you got to work with what's working there. Like you got to take what's popular and what what's successful, and so that's something you got to do as well. Is if you find something that works, keep doing it.
For sure.
It's like the old saying, like beating a dead horse. But if it's still working, you grab onto that and you keep going, because if you've got something that's successful, you don't you why step away from it? Keep
100%.
doing it until it's not working, and people can be like, oh, you're doing the same thing stale, blah blah blah. If it works, it works. Like
100%.
it is what it is. It may not
Yeah.
appeal to everybody, but if it's appealing to more people, like the compilation videos, like we are saying, I when I look at the analytics on those videos, it's like the people watching it is 80% new people.
Yeah. Good.
So it's
That's
not
good.
just like
Yeah.
it's still bringing in more people. It's not just like, oh, it's only my subscriber base that's watching it and they're going, this is old and boring, I've already watched this. It's new
New
people
people coming
coming in
in.
and watching it, and say if it gets 100,000 views, it's brought in 1,500 subscribers. So it's like, of course I'm going to keep posting these. These work. It's tried and tested. It's
Yeah.
it's doing the thing.
I guess
So
don't fix what's not broke is probably the perfect phrase, eh?
yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly
That's the
right.
one. That's the one. You always got to. It's good to be like, if you got something that works, obviously keep doing it, but you do still need to, test the waters with other stuff, because everything's going to stop being as, it's not going to do that forever. Like the compilations are good, but I know they're not going to go forever. So I still got to play other games and try and find things to grab onto and see what's
Yeah.
going to work there. And yeah, I've been waffling for a long time. I do that. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's good. It's good. Well, I reckon now I've been trying to keep the little fun segment relevant to what you do, and on Smash Catch 'em, you're trying to fill a Pokedex, I believe.
Yes, the ultra rare Pokedex.
So that's definitely a big challenge you've taken on, and those little
Mm,
baby shinies, as we are talking about before, there's a lot of them. So we thought
yep.
it would help you fill up hopefully a few more of them. So yeah, just
Yes,
open
I
up
got a little care package.
open up a few
Oh,
packs and show
lovely,
everyone
man.
what
I got to
you've
make sure
got.
I don't dox myself with this. But look at this. Look at this beautiful Cardonomics tape. How cool is that? If that's not professional, I don't know what is. Look how good that looks.
One thing we probably didn't
Yeah.
touch on, after like brand awareness and like sort of having that is a big thing, and that's what I've focused on a lot. So everyone's mentioned like, I've seen your tape or I've seen your logo, and I used to saying like
Yeah.
color schemed as well, and I've seen like your branding's very good. So probably another video, maybe we can touch on that on the next one.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me started on branding. Like
Yeah, I know. That's just
the
a
amount
whole
of
new
people, the
thing.
amount of people I've been asked. I've still to this day, just I've been doing YouTube full time for 4.5 years now. I still haven't put out any merch, and I get
All
people,
right.
because I keep being like, oh no, I'm just waiting for this to happen, and then it was at the time where I wanted to finally start that things slowed down. So I was still waiting for a thing to happen to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it when this sort of, and then it's just not happened. So,
Fair enough.
but no, your branding is fantastic. I'm just trying to do this without doxing myself, because there's a big sticker on the front that has my address.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No, don't do that.
no, your branding. So Charlie sent me this lovely care package,
I didn't know you hadn't
and
opened it yet.
huh?
I didn't know you hadn't
No, I
opened it
have.
yet. Oh, you did.
I
Okay,
have.
yeah. So
Of course I have. And I'm like, what's he
yeah.
sending? Because you didn't say what you were sending. You said were sending me something. So, for those that don't know my channel, my Pokemon channel, Smash Catch 'em, it started as a passion project mid last year. And I set myself straight out the gate the stupidest, most expensive goal I could have done, which my wallet's feeling it, is I wanted to complete the entire Pokedex with only ultra rare pulls. So in other words, your Vs, EXs, your galleries, your baby shinies, anything that's like ultra rare. And I have to pull the cards. So hold on, let me. Where is? I don't even know where my binder is. These binders are huge. All right, so
Let's go. Let's have a look.
this massive binder here. Let's move the microphone out of the way. This is a 4x4 binder. It's so heavy. And in this, I'm completing the Pokedex. So everything you see here outside of the Gen 3 reverse holos, I'll get into that after, maybe. I've pulled myself from booster boxes, a couple tins. If you buy a tin with a Black Star Promo GX on it,
Yeah.
that counts. Like with there is a lot.
You've already
I
made a
have
lot of
opened
videos, haven't you?
thousands.
Yeah.
I have on streams as well, thousands and thousands of packs. It's really good when you get to like the end, like the Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet era, because obviously they're all the modern sets. So there's this kind of ultra rares for everything, all baby shinies and stuff. Like
Oh,
I think this is probably the most full. There's a whole full page there, because that's like all the legendaries from Scarlet and Violet era, basically, and they've all got pulls. So everything in here, I've pulled myself from packs.
so what have we got? We've got
And
Shining Fates and we've got Paldean Fates I got in there, I believe. So what are you missing from there? So what are we chasing today?
okay, yeah. So what do we got here? So you've sent me. Woo, nice big stack of packs. Did you do a Shining Fates and a Paldean Fates ETB,
Basically,
or
almost.
nearly?
Almost.
Oh
Had
yeah,
some packs laying around, so
we got what's that? 8 and 9. So
almost there, yeah.
Shining Fates. Where are we? I've to try and make this challenge more manageable, I decided to break it down into we'll go like try and do one Pokedex at a time. Start with the Kanto Dex, you know?
Yep.
Obviously everything you pull still goes in, but chase the Kanto Dex. There is one Kanto shiny that eludes me from Shining Fates right now. The Galarian Ponyta. It is the only ultra rare Ponyta outside of I think one of the platinum sets has a shiny reverse hollow Ponyta, which that's a secret rare, but I ain't opening
Yeah.
platinum
Oh
packs, you
yeah,
know. Unless
that's
someone wants to send me a booster box, I'm not
yeah.
chasing secret rares from the from the Diamond and Pearl era. That's a little out of my price range.
Yeah, I
But
guess yeah. Like you're on a bit of a time thing here because look, Pokemon stays cheap for a while, but then it just takes off all of a sudden. So then you start,
these
having to
are
fork out a
there
lot
was
of
a
money
point
for
there I
packs.
was buying Shining Fates ETBs on the Amazon sales for about $60 an
Yeah,
ETB,
cheap as
which is
chips.
good.
Hmm.
That's cheap, and like I think I'm getting to that point where I'm gonna have to start spending more on them if I want to keep chasing, which I'm gonna need to. But it's like I can't just buy like a case of the ETBs now because it's just
Yeah.
getting more and more expensive. But we did hit one out of the two that were left. So I'm still chasing the Galarian Ponyta.
Well,
I
fingers
hit the
crossed, mate.
Galarian Far I
It's
hit the Galarian Farfetch the other day and I lost my shit. Because I'm probably like 500 packs into Shining Fate, and I hit
Jeez.
the Galarian Farfetch, and I was like, oh my god, that's one of the two big ones. There's still
Oh my
other ones
god.
for like later sets, but for the Kanto,
All right, let's do
let's
it.
have a look.
Hopefully, a bit of
Let's
luck.
do it. Let's go.
It'd be funny if you pull the Farfetch'd again.
Oh, if I pull the Farfetch'd again, I'm gonna shit my
Oh,
pants.
jeez.
All right, here we go.
Trade bait.
How do I normally? I remember how I do this for the like this.
Yeah, we
Where
can
are we?
see.
That way.
Yeah,
All right.
beautiful. We can see. I'll
Jeez,
tell you
look
if
at an Eevee, a horsey.
I'll scream if you get it.
Oh,
Oh,
all
we got
right,
one.
okay.
We got
Didn't do the
one.
pack trick, but that's a Dracloak.
Yeah,
I
nice. All right, that's
bear
one
with
from
me.
one. Pretty good.
Hold on. That could be a Dex entry. Let me
Look,
I'm
off
gonna
to
double
off to a
check
good
this.
start. Here we go.
Yeah. Because there's always ones from the later gens there where I'm like, you know what? I know what I need from the early ones, but there's too many Pokemon in general. Oh, it is. That's a Dex entry.
Oh, lovely.
Ladies and gentlemen, first pack, we've got Dreepy, we've got Dragapult, we don't have Dracloak, but we do now.
Mate, I've,
Oh, that
I've
is a
blessed the
great
pack,
start.
so they're very lucky ones. You got the Cardonomics
You've
blessing.
already blessed us. Yeah, the Cardonomics blessing, and it's come through one for one. Look at that. See, that's the other thing I love about
Well, the monkey's off the
one of the
back. We can
reasons
just
why I
enjoy
wanted
it
to
now.
do. Yeah, one of the things why I wanted to do this challenge, not only because I'd not seen anybody do it, probably because it's stupid and expensive, but it's all of a sudden you start chasing cards that aren't not just chasing. Oh, I'm looking for the old arts. I want the gold cards. I want a gold pack. You're like, no, I want the Pinsir Gallery from Twilight Masquerade. Like that's the one I'm chasing. I want that
Mm.
one. You know, because all of a sudden that's now an ultra rare card that you don't have.
It's always the one that eludes you, isn't it? And that's half the
Yeah.
fun. The chase is half the fun, but it can get expensive if you don't get it in time.
Yeah. Well,
No,
that's
so good there.
we got others co card back. That's me with Hidden Fates now because there's a lot of pulls from Hidden Fates,
Yeah, that one's
and
expensive.
it's not cheap. The best I'm being able to get anything is like $15 a pack, and unless you like literally pull something that's of value to sell again, like to buy more product, you just end up in a hole with it, and it's rough.
Yeah, I was going
It
to
is
say sorry.
rough.
I don't think Hidden Fates is in the budget this time around, but maybe next
No,
time.
that's completely fine.
Oh, there we
I got a
go.
Rillaboom.
Oh my god,
Well,
we're doing real,
Rillaboom. Oh,
doing
back-to-back monkey business.
doing
Not
extremely
bad.
well.
Yeah, we're doing all right here. It's two pulls in three packs.
Is that
All right.
one you already had?
Yeah, already got Rillaboom. We got Rillaboom. It could be an upgrade. So I like the way I like to do it as well is I will generally try and put the highest rarity version of a card that I've put in this binder because that way it just makes the binder look fancier, you know. Say
Sure,
if I
yeah.
pull a regular Rillaboom V, I'll put the full art shiny one instead in the binder because it's a fancier card.
So it could be an upgrade.
All right. Yeah, it could be a binder upgrade. Let's see what we can. Oop,
Well, it's a nice Eevee. You got double Eevee.
oop, and a Manaphy. All
I
right.
don't even mind looking at like the common arts. Like some of them are like very underappreciated.
Yeah. I've actually been really enjoying a lot of the artwork in a lot of the new sets
Yeah,
recently.
it's
There's
been
some
really
very
good.
nice cards.
Been awesome.
There's some very nice cards. I'm a big fan of the gallery cards too. So whenever they obviously because there's so many dex entries that I chase from galleries in general, but coughing and the Rillaboom again.
It's all right, mate.
Um,
You can't win them all, can
just
we?
the yeah. Nah, look, we got one on the first pack. So
No, we're
if there's
doing
a
well.
ponyta hidden in one of these, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy. All right, Tootle, Eevee, what do we got? Show me a little
Does
something.
she feel heavy? Oh, it's the far-fetched.
This nah. Nah. What?
Mate, so you should have
You
done
literally
this.
said imagine if we pull the far-fetched.
You should have done this interview
Again.
earlier, mate. You would have got it over and done with a lot
No.
sooner.
Oh my god, you're kidding me.
Oh,
This happened with the Pidgey, right? There's a Pidgey gallery in Obsidian Flames. There's a Pidgey baby shiny in Paldean Fates.
yep.
I went 9 boxes of equivalent of Obsidian Flames with no gallery Pidgey, and then probably 500 packs of Paldean Fates
Jeez.
with no baby shiny Pidgey. Then on one stream, literally from like it was like two ETBs or two ETBs worth of packs just on the table. And I grabbed one, and Sarah grabbed one, and she's crazy when she comes and grabs packs. She just grabs in and just starts just opening them everywhere. Literally back to back baby shiny Pidgeys. Like
Yeah,
hadn't
it's always
seen
the
it in
case,
the
isn't it?
equivalent of 900 packs back. But oh my god,
There we
are you
go.
serious?
I love
That's
Farfetch too. He's cool.
it's such a cool card. But oh my god, I can't believe I went so dry of it, and then you bloody send me.
Yeah, it's always the case,
It's
isn't it? It's
crazy.
always the case.
That.
Oh.
Oh my god. There's no way. I chased that for so long, and you're just like, oh, here's one off my shelf. It's got one in, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Now, please put a ponytail in this
Just
one.
to top it off.
End my suffering. Oh no, no, I'm fumbling here. But do we have something behind
Come
that?
on.
Oh,
What's that?
Cramorant,
Okay.
the goofiest looking bird.
A lot of hits,
Although
isn't it?
I will give Cramorant credit. There is some beautiful. There's a beautiful Is it one of the promos? I think one of the Japanese promos with like that has the Cramorant like diving into the lake.
No, I think it's
I
in.
think
I know it's in the Japanese core set. I'm thinking of. One of the recent
it,
sets.
it's
There's a
the,
nice
there was like a
cormorant. I think it might be Twilight he's in actually, if I'm from
no
memory.
no no
No.
no. There's definitely like there's a Japanese promo one.
Okay.
I think I'll have to find it to you, and you can overlay it on the. I'll send it
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Send
so
it
you
to
can
me.
chuck it over the screen.
Is
What
this
am I
still?
doing?
Are
That's
we
the
still
wrong
on
way.
Shining Fates? Is this it?
This is the last Shining
Yep.
Fates.
Okay.
Show me that ponytail. I can't believe you sent me one and it's got a far-fetched in it, man. I am just. That's insane. Nah, no more baby shinies there.
Oh, we did
It's got
really.
the
I think
biggest
we did
hairdo
well
on the
though.
planet.
Look,
No, that's good.
got one
That's
entry, an upgrade, and then a double Farfetch, which
I just the far-fetched, man. Like I
and
can't believe that. It always happens too. You pull it once and then it's just like, here's another one by the way.
I want to get the comments saying
It's
it was staged, eh?
that's yeah. No, all these are like perfectly sealed. Check the tops, check the bottoms.
Yeah,
These are
jeez.
all these are all fancy fresh.
Mm.
All right, Powder and
All
Fates.
right, let's go. What are you chasing here?
Scyther Doduo
A lot of good OGs in this. There's
and
Snorlax, Charmander, Charmeleon. There's
yeah,
Pikachu.
there's a lot of good ones. There's I think
Kadabra,
there's a yeah,
Raichu.
I I think the last ones I need now, yeah, Scyther, yeah, Scyther Doduo. I think either Slowpoke or Slowbro, one of the two,
Well,
maybe.
let's hope we get
Let's
at
have a
least
look
we'll
though.
knock another one off. Hopefully.
Yeah. Whoop. Okay, no baby shiny there. Oh, we got a Toadscruel EX. Definitely don't
And
have a dozen of these. Man, whenever I pull like just a regular EX from Powder and Face anymore, or any of like the regular full art trainers, I'm like,
another one.
like I've got, or like the three galleries. I wish they put more galleries in this set.
Oh, it would have been such a home run. But the three like main SIRs they've got, they're stunning. I don't know if you
Oh
need.
yeah, the big ones like the Zard, the Bubble Mew.
Yeah.
I've packed the Bubble Mew so many times, and I love it.
I
Every time
love
I
that
pull that,
card.
I'm just like, this is such a good card.
It's nice. And even
Yeah,
the Charizard,
another regular EX.
I think even the
Fun for
Charizards,
her.
like when you compare all the recent Charizards or the Charizards, whatever you want to call them, like all that fancy sort of Terra stuff. I think the one
Yeah,
in Paldean Fates is probably my favorite.
it's a beautiful looking card. I've only pulled that one once, and I'm a little sad that I've only pulled it once because it's such a beautiful card.
A lot of people probably haven't pulled it at all, mate. So it's
Yeah,
still a good
I know,
privilege.
but I've opened like probably 700, 800
Oh,
packs, so
jeez.
I feel like I should have hit another one by this point. But I can't complain
No one having
because I've
much
pulled the
luck
bubble
here.
mirror like 5 or 6 times, I think.
I put
Oh,
on my
hiccups.
I put on my first time. I think I opened a few ETBs on release, and I was lucky enough to get him.
Yeah, oh, the Zard. What, in a
Yeah,
couple of ATVs?
yeah, a few
You
ETBs.
bastard.
Yeah.
You bastard. It's like 151. 151 did me so dirty when I first got it. It took me, I think, 112 packs to get an alt art,
Oh,
and it was the
jeez.
Giovanni's Charisma. And I'm like, that's not fair. Believer,
Okay, we got one.
Baby Shiny. Got that one. Double header? No.
No,
But not bad, not
we'll
bad.
take it.
Take that. We'll
It's a
take it,
slow start for
absolutely.
that. This was a sealed ETB, so
Yeah. So all the hits that we started at the back here, all the packs are at the front. The pile's upside down. I've got we got a Haunter. All right, Charmeleon. Show me a Charmander or a Charmeleon,
yeah,
baby
that's
shiny. They're
cool.
very nice. Oh,
Oh,
how about a
there we
full
go.
art Wigglytuff?
Why
Look at the
not?
shine. I get the wrong angle on that, and it's just like
Yeah, mate.
white.
Yeah, take
It's a
that
very
one.
shiny one.
Have you got that
Yep.
one? I'm guessing you got that one already because you're not
Yeah,
too
yeah.
excited about
We've
that.
we've pulled that one a couple times. Was there was it Wigglytuff in 151 as well? I think. Yeah. Was that Clefable? No, Clefable was in Obsidian.
It
Yeah, there's
is.
a
It is
Wigglytuff
Wigglytuff. Yeah,
in yeah.
from
So
memory.
definitely pulled a couple Wigglytuffs. The
Oh,
Mankey was a nice pull from this set. This set brought
yeah, it
so many
is.
dex entries. The Fate sets are always phenomenal for that for this challenge I'm doing.
I think it's very
We got Pants
underrated.
Lizard.
Here we go. We got a trainer.
Oh, there we
Nice.
go. We've got
Not
a nice
bad.
alt art and a Mona.
Yeah,
Very
I think a lot of
nice.
people are
We'll take
negative
that.
because the price has sort of stayed low for a while. But when you look at the set as a whole, like there's so much good stuff in there, and even
There
when you
is.
open
There
it,
is so many good pulls.
it's always a good time. Or I don't know if you've had the
I
same
love opening
experience,
this set.
but
Yeah, it's a very generally rewarding, very satisfying set to open.
yeah, I agree.
It's nice. It's nice. All right, we've got 3 packs left. We've hit an alt art and we've hit
It's not
one
bad.
baby shiny.
A full
So
art
this
and a
is already a
baby
good ETB.
for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and 2 EXs, but we don't count them. we don't count an Espathra and
Nothing. Another
a
dud pack.
Toedscruel. All right, 2 more. Pikachu. We'll save the Pikachu art for last,
That's what I do. I save all the Pikachu's for last.
just in case.
They've always got the
You know,
hits
you
in
got to
them.
pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pikachu's the magic. Pikachu's the magic. All right, what do we got? Can we top it off with a little something
Come on.
something? Scyther baby shiny, please end my suffering.
Hopefully get some last
Nope.
black magic happening. Be nice and fitting. We got nothing.
Professor's research.
All right.
I really need to go through all my bulk and pull out all the playable cards
Yeah. Okay.
and like separate them and try and sell them as like I don't know, like $1 a piece compared to like
Yeah.
a what 10 cents a card kind of bulk.
I'm gonna say
'Cause
if
I
you
got
can get
so
that
many.
going, yeah,
I've opened so many cards. I have so many like playable bulk.
you get
All
some
right,
money
this is the
back at
Pikachu art.
least.
Yeah, get some money back. That's the problem. Is I haven't sold anything that I've bought. I just sit on it and I have no money. I just have cards.
Well, let's drum roll this. Oh, we
Oh,
go.
Voltorb!
Not the one we
Nice.
wanted, but not a bad little surprise
No,
there. Can we double up?
it's a little Kanto.
No,
It's a little Kanto one. We'll take a Kanto entry, even if it's it's not a Dex entry, but it's
it's still an
it's
OG.
Kanto Baby Shiny.
There we
I
go.
actually I can't remember. I think I hit. I feel like I hit. Well, I'll see what's in the binder. I feel like I hit the Obviously, there's a Voltorb in Crown Zenith, but I think I no, I did hit the Voltorb in Crown Zenith. I think I hit the Hidden Fates one first before I hit. I thought I did, but I must have hit it afterwards. I hit the Hidden Fates
Nice.
Voltorb
Nice.
not long after the Crown Zenith one because I was like, the Crown Zenith one, it's an easy one, it's just Crown Zenith. That was when Crown Zenith was regularly available and still
Yeah,
cheap. It's
that's
still
a-
fairly cheap, but
That's the next one I think to take off in the Sword and Shield era.
yeah, it's such a good set. As soon
Awesome.
as it stops being so available,
Yep.
That set's just going to do wonders because it's just such a fantastic set.
100%.
The the Galarian Gallery alt arts are just they're just phenomenal. That's what got me back into Pokemon. Like so addicted back into Pokemon was Crown Zenith.
Oh, it's an awesome set, and again, like people don't realize, how good something is. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but until the price starts going up and the attention and the spotlights on it again, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden everyone wants it. Oh, it's an awesome set, but when things are going down or stagnant, it's like no one's really looking at it. But it's just the nature of the
yeah.
beast, I think, and I know it better than anyone else, doing what I do. But no, that was awesome, man. Look, I think
Thank you very much for sending these over as
Nah, that's all
well.
right, no
You did not
problem,
have to
man.
do that at all, and
Glad to be a part of that
I
journey.
just I can't believe that anybody
Yeah,
that
I
watches
know.
my Pokemon content is going to see this and be like, "You're kidding me."
Oh,
Because
jeez.
this card was like one of two chase cards from Shining Fates, and I don't open Shining Fates all that often because I can't get a hold of it at a viable price to be ripping it relentlessly. So to pull the Farfetch'd
Oh,
literally 2 weeks after I got it,
always the
chasing
case,
it for
isn't it?
so long
When it
is
rains,
just
it pours.
crazy. That's it. It does. And we got the alt art from
Yeah,
got an alt art from
wasn't
Paldean Fates too.
wasn't a bad few packs. It's
Yeah,
good.
and I think overall we did pretty good there. So thank you very, very much for sending those. You did not have to do that at
Nah,
all.
no worries.
Really appreciate that, man.
Gives everyone a bit of a taste of what you do. So I guess the next thing we'll ask before we let you go, like, what are your future plans? What can people expect from Smashing or even Smash Catch 'em or
Um, well, I'm going to start off with hopefully more regular uploads.
yeah.
Once I get the whole near at that point, we're nearly on top of all the house stuff. So the house is I got to finish setting up my office and get everything there. But then I'm going to try and spend a bit more time on doing more editing myself to get more regular uploads. On the Pokemon channel, I do like to try and do. I mean, the last video, the one I'm halfway through editing, is the Paradise Dragona set, which is now like 3 weeks old. So I'm gonna post that I'm like this brand new set, and it's like the new Japanese set's coming out
Yep.
what 2 days from now from when
Friday,
this is
yep.
being filmed.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll message you about that one. I need some of
Yeah. No, it's looking
that.
good, man. It's looking really good.
It looks like a fantastic set. I'm so excited for. Is it Raging Sparks?
Surging
I think it's
Sparks,
called
yeah.
Surging Sparks. Yeah. It looks to be a fantastic set. But yeah, so more Pokemon content, keeping up with the card stuff. I'm gonna be soon. I plan on doing a couple challenge runs on stream. I stream 4 days a week. I'm gonna start doing some more Pokemon related game stuff there, which I will cut down and post VODs of on the Smash Catchem channel because that's all the Pokemon stuff.
Yep.
So expect to see some Pokemon game stuff there as well if you like that.
Awesome.
Just usual regular uploads on Smashing, and I want to get some more stuff going on the Variety channel as well. Some more content with some other people and some silly solo business too. So
Nah, sounds good.
just
Definitely
more
be
across
checking
the
that out.
board,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. No,
more across the
excited.
board.
Excited to see what's coming. So yeah,
Yeah,
look,
looking forward to seeing all of your content coming through as well. There's lots of cool stuff coming up
yeah,
that you've been posting.
slowly but surely, man. I'm just getting my head around it, but yeah, I'm getting there. Like I said, it's hard as a one-man band, as you probably would have seen, early on, as we were speaking
Yep,
about before.
there's
But if I ever get to the phase where I can hire someone, then definitely be pushing out more content. But I think I'm at my limit right now, and yeah,
yeah, that's it. There's only so much one man can do. So no,
exactly.
you're doing fantastic, man.
I appreciate that. Oh, look, mate, thanks for coming on. I appreciate your time as always. I'm going to put all your links, all your channels, everything I can find in the description. Go check out what Aiden's doing. Awesome guy, awesome content. Just get around the guy. He's just a good all around guy, and I love supporting people that are just genuine. And just like giving me the time. You didn't have to do what you do, but you've always been kind enough to me. So it just shows the person that you are.
No, of
I always want to
course, man.
highlight
Thank
that
you.
as
Thanks
well.
for
So
having me on the show as well. Thanks for having me here.
no, I
It's
appreciate it.
no, it's I thanks for having me waffle for so long. Because once I get
Yeah,
started on these subjects,
it's
I
easy to
just
get carried
word
away.
vomit. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just I do that thing where you start talking to one thing and then it sort of segues into another thing, and all of a sudden the conversation you were having is like fucking all the way over there, and you're like, no, hang on, let's bring it back. Let's back over to here. One track.
That's why we need
It's
to chop things down, and like that's where the
yeah.
editing comes in, I guess. So
That's it. You can cut out most most of the waffling and make
Yeah.
it a reasonable length video.
But look,
No, thanks for having me on here, and thanks for doing what you do as well. Like, you have absolutely drained my bank account, but I have gotten so much good value out of it, so it's
I hope
fine.
so.
Um,
Let's hope it's not bad
Get
spending,
mate,
but
if you're
yeah.
not, if for some reason you're watching this and you don't know who Charlie is, go check his stuff out. You will get the best and most trustworthy prices available on all sorts of TCGs. I buy all of my Japanese product through Charlie. There's you can't actually. I think if you can see, I think there's some Japanese boxes in the corner over there.
Yeah,
There's plenty
nice.
over here. The other
Bit
room is
everywhere.
full of it, and it's just nah.
I
It doesn't get
appreciate
any
that,
better than
mate.
that.
Well, look, I hope you haven't spilled all your beans today because I'd love to get you back on in the near future. So,
Oh, you know I can talk more. You know
yeah,
that.
exactly. All right, mate, we'll leave it there. Again, thanks for your time, and I guess I'll see you next time.
Anytime. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very, very much, Charlie.
Thanks, mate. See you guys.
Take care. Bye, everybody.